Updated August 7, 2017 172,028. The United States will recover from any perceived damage caused by the chaos engulfing Donald Trump's administration, a former World Bank president has told the Diggers and Dealers Mining Forum. Speaking after delivering the forum's keynote address in the Wa mining town of Kalgoorlie, Robert Zoellick said the strength of the U.S. private sector remained its primary advantage, but global uncertainty was still a serious concern. Can the United States recover from any self-inflicted wounds? Sure, Mr. Zoellick said. But what I am getting some added worry about is that as people are uncertain about U.S. direction, they will inevitably start to make adjustments, and some of those might be mistaken. Mr. Zoellick served as World Bank president from 2007 to 2012, after stints as a deputy secretary of state and a senior U.S. trade representative under President George W. Bush. Despite the uncertainty surrounding Mr. Trump's approach to foreign policy, he said it was critical that global leaders did not overreact. I'm a person who has been very committed to the international security, economic and political order that the United States helped create over 70 years, he said. I think that Trump doesn't value that to the same degree, but this is more than one man. He pointed to North Korea, and the rising nuclear ambitions of leader Kim Jong-un in the Asia-Pacific, as the #1 risk to global security. Australia, Mr. Zoellick said, had a critical role to play in calming tensions in the region, as well as easing diplomatic issues emerging during the Trump administration. I hope Australia can play a steadying role, he said. Because Australia has a lot of ties and Australians understand the US system better than many throughout Asia. It's important not to underestimate the dangers, but it's also important not to overreact in an international sense. He said the Trump presidency would be a bigger test of the U.S.'s internal institutions, rather than its international reputation, but he remained confident. It's been 240 years, we've had civil wars, there's some solidity there, Mr. Zoellick said. I think this presidency will ultimately be a test of the U.S. system. He pointed to Republicans in the U.S. Senate, such as John McCain and Jeff Flake, as the most influential potential checks on the power of the president. Politics, not economics, China's primary motivator. Mr. Zoellick said Australian and other international leaders needed to be mindful of China's primary motivations. I've been saying this since Xi Jinping took power, and there was a school of thought, to some degree, that because he was an economic reformer, he might be a political reformer too, he said. I caution people, don't mix those two things up. He is very much devoted to preserving the power of the Communist Party. He said internal politics, particularly ongoing negotiations over the new standing committee for the Chinese Communist Party, would be the key factor driving Chinese decisions. Mr. Zoellick said he expected the Chinese president to look to minimize and control any potential flashpoint on the Korean peninsula. Xi Jinping wants a steady ship, and doesn't exactly want a crisis, he said. China has politics too. We often don't understand them, they are somewhat opaque and behind the scenes, but it's very, very real. Particularly given Australia has a deep economic relationship with China. Keep in mind, the politics are dominant. Topics: Mineng industry, Donald Trump, trade, Kalgoorlie 6,430, United States first posted August 7, 2017 165,817.